Connecting the server. Okay. Share. Can everyone see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome, awesome stuff. Okay. Good evening, everybody. And my name is Stephen Newby, for anybody who doesn't know, and I'd personally like to thank everyone for attending the first Network.Education webinar. Now, the Network.Education is actually the sister company to the Network International. It's based around the professional careers development platform. And during the early phases of COVID-19, my team's members came together to figure out what was needed during and after the pandemic. We originally had plans to transition to digital like next year, but we never thought that we would have to do it straight away. And this is what's happened now. By listening to our clients and previous alumni graduates, we've came up with a platform that could offer a professional career service, managing e-courses and delivering remote sessions, and also upskilling with regards to support. We want to really bridge that gap between education, training, employment, and our key mission is basically to transform the lives during and after COVID-19 when it comes to employment. Now, let's go on to this one, everyone can see. Now, the webinar will provide an overview on how to develop your career during COVID-19, but it will also overlook economic trends on which job markets are in demand, to which are less in demand, and what recruiters are starting to require. The topics that we're going to be covering is how to build on your existing skills, developing new skill set for future opportunities, the power of networking online, and what the job market expects. The last one is being an entrepreneur versus being an employee. This is my favorite one, actually. This is gonna, hopefully I'm gonna open this out to everybody. Now, the people that are on our panel, we have Vijay Mistry, who's the Senior Careers Advisor for Regent London University. We have Joseph Bailey, who is the Senior Recruitment Hunter for various different huge firms. We've got Namita Kabilas, who is the founder of Namita Kabilas Agency. We've got Lauren Bella, the founder of Habakkuk Recruitment. And then you've got me, myself, the founder of the network and also the host. If everybody could, well, our main discussion panel members, could they just describe in regards of what they do? Just a quick 2 minutes, starting with Vijay.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Vijay Mistry, Senior Careers Advisor at Regent's University. Mainly, I support students and alumni in their career journey, whether the option is for working for an organisation or to start up their own business. In a nutshell, supporting their trajectories.
Fantastic. Joseph Bailey.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. I'll give everyone a very quick potted overview. I've been in recruitment now for about 16 years. Started off in the financial services market, worked in that industry for about 10 years, then moved across into executive search, whereby I was headhunting mid to senior level executives across engineering, manufacturing, supply chain. For the last 3 years, I've been working in an in-house role, recruiting for Jaguar Land Rover, and now recruiting for Babcock International. Babcock International, what we do as a company is we offer maintenance and support services directly into the MOD.
Okay, then fantastic. Lauren?
Hi everyone, so I'm Lauren. I have a recruitment business. We're just over 4 years now. We service the marketing, creative sector, as well as recently diversitying into new areas. And then I have an additional business which is all about personal development and spiritual development. So that's me.
Okay, then, and we have Namita.
Hi everybody, I'm Namita. I am a bespoke videographer and marketing agency, and what I do is I help entrepreneurs, particularly small businesses. I help them build successful, profitable businesses by helping build the right engaging online presence through social media campaigns, video content, and content writing. So what I'm all about is all about helping business owners communicate to their audience and helping them present themselves effectively to their market, so that they do have more customers, more opportunities, and help them make more money simply by helping them build the right presence for them.
Fantastic. Okay then, so before we continue, I just want everyone to prepare. Be ready to take some notes, so make sure that you have a pen, paper, tablet handy. Feel free to leave any questions in the Zoom chat box, and then we'll get back to you as soon as. I will be adding information, PDF and links, so constantly keep a look on the chat box. And a Q&A session will be done after the event. However, if anyone does have any questions or queries, and I do happen to see them while we're discussing certain topics, I'll try and include them in during our speak. Okay then, so we start off on how to build on your existing skills. Now, building on existing skill sets is actually pretty tricky, especially if you're in the mindset that you're already good at what you do. And it's very easy to become very outdated with regards to when it comes to skill sets, because it constantly changes, especially when it comes to the economy and what the industry demands. I put a little bit of a quote from a recruiter saying, building on your existing skills in particular subjects can be a masterful technique for your future. So I raise this question to the panel. What type of skill sets would you recommend? Well, not even skill sets, let me rephrase that. What methods do you use to build on your current skill sets or improve on skill sets? I'll aim that at VJ actually, should be ideal for that one.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Yeah, so thinking about building on your existing skills, certainly during your academic experience, there's a range of soft skills or something called transferable skills that can be demonstrated. You might be on a specific course where you might be learning technical skills as well. So if I take fashion design as an example, where you might be stitching, you might be pattern cutting, at the same time, you will also be using a technology, CAD, as an example. So in this particular moment in time, working from home, you could be utilizing your technical skills. Thinking about online courses, this is going to be an added bonus for you to upskill yourself and then really start matching what the skill requirements are in the market. If we look at digitalization, use of technology, that is, I believe, the direction, and we look at various reports, that is an indication of CAD skills being quite strong for, let's say, fashion and design. So that would be an upskilling by you taking up a short course and really expanding to fit an opportunity of your design, but thinking about an alternative entry route in.
Okay, then fantastic. Do you have anything to build on with regards to it, Namita?
How you can build on? Yes, so how you can build up your existing skills. So I would look up such skills, and you look at your current role and see what sort of essential skills will help you perform even better, that will help you become more of a valuable asset to your teams as well as the overall business you're working for. Yeah, I would look at the skills that are in relation to your job role as well, so that you can deliver more value to your teams. And yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, Lauren, have there been any moments where you've had to overlook some job skills that you've done in the past, while your existing skills, and you've had to find ways of building it or improving it to make it better for an employer before being an entrepreneur?
Yes, I was very blessed that when I was employed, they did give me the training that I needed. I was quite humble that I joined as like a fresh chicken, and I needed as much experience and as much knowledge as I could possibly get. So it's a case of being proactive, seeing what's on the websites for free, because there's a lot of free courses out there, but then also asking for the support. And if you do have an employer, say, look, I want to upskill myself, I want to develop new skills, and they'll most likely invest in you because they like that determination.
Okay, then, fantastic. And Joseph, also, has there been a moment where you've had to improve your skill set in any form of a way so you can get a certain job that you've wanted?
Yeah, funnily enough, moving into the arena of executive search, so making the transition from a high street recruiter into headhunting senior execs, I actually took a step out of recruitment, and I had to really develop some of my softer skills and influential skills. And I think depending on your journey where you want to go, it's important that you research and find out what skills you need to acquire. Sometimes you can't always develop the soft skills through a qualification or a course. So sometimes you may need to pause your career, take it in a different direction, do some voluntary work, do some work experience, or even do some job shadowing. So at the time when you're doing it, it may feel, you may feel frustrated, or you may feel that this isn't where you want it, where you ought to be. But sometimes taking a backward step or a sideward step and going into a new industry to gain some new skills, then to elevate yourself going forward, I think is really, really valuable.
Okay, then, fantastic. Great. That's great to touch upon. I mean, when it comes to me, well, when I was trying to improve my skill set, that was a perfect way of doing it, is finding an industry that worked for me, and kind of unlocking the potential that I already had. For example, careers coaching. I didn't think that I had it in me to do any form of careers coaching or guidance until it was kind of presented to me. And once I identified that that was like a role that I could go into and that I can thrive in, it was so much more easier for me to build on it. So it's really about finding those strengths and those innate abilities and building on them. So now we're on to the next topic, which is developing new skill sets for the near future. Now, when it comes to, obviously, COVID-19 has been the eye-opener. I've been trying to tell everybody that they need to improve their skill set, especially when it comes to digital skill set. That is absolutely a perfect example. The era of technology is just, it's taking over everything. Everything is technology based. Everything is digital based, and a lot of recruiters, as I've said before, they always say that, Stephen, we need digital skill set, and not a lot of people have digital skill set. Does anybody have any advice in regards of how individuals that aren't tech savvy can build on their digital skill set in order for them to acquire new or future job prospects? I think I'll aim this at Lauren. Definitely, yeah, let's try that.
Yeah, so for the past 6-7 years, I've worked in marketing recruitment specifically, and we've tended to see a shift of things being more digital focused. That's what employers are looking for. But there's things such as Google Digital Garage, which is a free sort of course that you can do that can develop your skill sets, Google Analytics. You can kind of be proactive in going out there, or even marketing internships, like you said, Stephen, shadowing, as much kind of experience. And even what Joseph said, even if it's voluntary to start with, build your CV on that and it should work.
Okay, then, fantastic. VJ, do you have anything to add to it?
Absolutely, and I echo what Lauren says in terms of free courses available, particularly at this time, COVID. Amazon and IBM are offering bite-sized and even longer courses that you can skill in. And when we have a look at volunteering websites, for example. A really good one in the UK at the moment is doit.org, and that is a platform where you are volunteering your time. And if you look at it close enough, there's also options to work from home. So at this particular moment in time, if you want to develop your tech skills, this could be another option, adding, again, value to what you can offer an employer in the future.
Okay then. Joseph?
Yeah, I think I'd probably throw a bit of a slight curveball here, Stephen. And I think the digital experience is sector specific. The market that I work in, being engineering, there isn't so much a key driver that you have to have that digital know-how. It really is dependent on your technical ability. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I do echo what the two previous recruiters have said, but I think depending on the industry that the individual wants to pursue or enter in, I think it's very important that you do your research and find out what the employers are looking for, because I guess sometimes we see this as a recruiter. Candidates will invest a lot of time and effort in courses or subjects or areas of development, and it's not applicable to the path that they're going on. So I think research is really, really key. Find out what the employers want, they need, and then invest that way. And with candidates as well, and if they don't know how to do that, sometimes as well, pick up the phone and speak to the HR department, engage with a conversation, or connect with HR recruiters online and ask the questions. What do I need to do? Save yourself some time as well.
Definitely, I agree. When it comes to HR, it's so powerful. VJ would know, because like, I've got an ongoing relationship when it comes to HR and recruitment, and it's just amazing to know how much they know in regards of what's required in order to get a certain job, or also to build up on the skills that you currently have. So HR is a golden gem, which not a lot of people use or utilize. They don't communicate with them very much, and just assume that they just look over CVs. But calling HR sometimes works, and it's worked in my favor so many times, where I've been able to call a company's HR department and gain some invaluable information that they don't even post online. Mm-hmm. So definitely taking that route. Don't bug them, but taking that route would be a fantastic route. Anybody who's about to speak? Namia?
Yeah, so yes, during these times, it's also a great way for you to, so if you've been affected by the pandemic, like, if you've experienced a job loss, or your business have to close down, well, this is a perfect time for you to build up on your skills, build up transferable skills. You should ask yourself this key question: what kind of skills do I always want to pursue, and how can I apply these to future opportunities that I want to apply for? So such skills, so look at skills that are easily transferable and universal, so that you can apply to many jobs, to various roles that you may do, rather than just one specific skill. Look at the general skills that you may do. So that way you'll be more open to job opportunities. For instance, IT is a very essential skill. IT, project management, accounting. So basically such skills that you can apply in many job roles rather than just one, because that way you're going to be more open to more opportunities.
Okay then, I just got a chat from Anthony Robinson saying that most colleges are not offering courses online. Sorry, that should say now offering. I'm not sure.
So most colleges now.
Most colleges are not offering courses online. Are now offering courses online. Okay then, understood. Most colleges are offering courses online. A lot in university institutions are offering a lot of courses as well when it comes to developing new skill sets. So definitely, most of them are for free, funny enough. Another site that VJ recommended me, which I'm going to add onto the group, is FutureLearn. FutureLearn is absolutely amazing. Thank you for that, VJ.
You're welcome.
There is oh, sorry. What were you about to say?
Oh, I have some other suggestions where you can also look. So LinkedIn Learning is also a good one.
Mhm.
Learn with Google is also great, and Skillshare. They also have a variety of courses, even on
Definitely.
video courses. So they cover many interests, many skills
Yeah.
for you. So they're also good ones.
There are a plethora of courses that you can choose from
Mhm.
online when it comes to upskilling and skill setting for the future. The power of online networking. Now, you've probably heard our slogan for the Network International: your network is your net worth. I say this over and over again. The people that you connect with are vital to different courses of where your future is going to end up. So when you connect with certain people, it elevates you in a different area, and that's incredibly important. Now, due to COVID-19, networking online has increased more than ever. So it was originally 64%, now it's 92.4%. So practically the whole world is online, networking and trying to connect with new people, new opportunities are currently happening. So I'll put this out to the discussion panel once again. What successful routes have you taken when it comes to networking yourself online? Has it been on a LinkedIn basis? Has it been on a basis similar to this webinar? I'll throw this out to Lauren.
Yeah, so I did have a branding networking event, which was very similar to this. It was Zoom, it was interactive, it was engaging, it was really informative.
Mhm,
Other than that, for me, it's probably been LinkedIn. I'm quite proactive on there.
mhm.
And as I've been doing a lot of training, really, I'm probably quite humble to admit that I'm not doing it as much as what I should do. So I can probably pass this on to somebody else.
Okay. VJ, do you have any idea, any tips?
Yes, certainly. Stephen, you and I have both been doing this on LinkedIn, creating community groups where we can exchange relevant information, but also for networking opportunities. There's, I think, the invitation out to like-minded individuals to share and connect, and if possible, to help each other grow. It's my own experience. LinkedIn, I think, has been very powerful. And when I think about the network connections I've built, not just working in the UK, but also abroad as well, it's allowed me to maintain this, but also through those connections, be connected to others as well.
Okay, then definitely, I agree. When it comes to LinkedIn, LinkedIn, once again, is a very powerful platform that very few utilize, or possibly it's not that very few utilize it, it's very few that don't know how to utilize LinkedIn in the best way possible. You've got, if you upgrade to the LinkedIn package, I think you get it free for 30 days. I used it, and the connections that I made and the advice that I got, especially when it came to careers guidance and advice and finding different senior career guidance advisors and also recruiters, was immense. And they were willing to give me advice, give me ideas and tips in regards of improving my own skill set. And also when it came to employability offers as well in the near future. Obviously, I'm very happy where I am at the moment. Very, very happy. Just putting it out there. But creating those solid connections has been incredibly invaluable. Utilizing Eventbrite as well is just amazing. I've managed to attend various different webinars in different parts of the world, whether it comes to Singapore, when it comes to America, Canada. I've had the opportunity to connect with so many different people. So I'm not thinking just nationally, I'm thinking internationally as well, because more jobs are becoming ad hoc, where you can do it literally anywhere around the world. Your work colleagues are no longer in a local area. They're probably in India, they're probably in Australia, they're probably in New Zealand or South Africa. So it's definitely really, really good. I definitely advise it. Not only do you access LinkedIn circles, but consider utilizing Eventbrite and some of the career fair webinars that they do have. Joseph, do you have anything to add to it?
Yeah, absolutely right there, Stephen, with the upgrade of LinkedIn, LinkedIn Premium. So you are right, you get 30 days and it is a powerful tool. But before I guess any candidate that's looking for that new career step, who perhaps isn't strong with LinkedIn, I recommend that you take a LinkedIn course, YouTube, understand the basics as to how to use LinkedIn, how to do Boolean searches. I won't go into that too much right here, right now. And also learn and know how to engage with recruiters, HR, because as a candidate, if you're looking for a job, you've got to recognize that recruiters are inundated with lots of messages, and so are HR. So it's knowing how to navigate and phrase your questions or your opening paragraph in a way that's attractive. Also, what's also powerful as well is, from a networking perspective, is creating a shortlist. So depending on where you are in your career as well, create a list of 20 to 30 of the key companies that you want to work for. Create that list, research them, connect with a lot of people that work for the companies that you want to work for. Once you've connected, even if it's an administrator, just say, look, here, I want to reach out to you. What's it like working? Get some inside knowledge from people who work for those companies. So when you do approach a manager or HR, you've got a little bit of an edge, in comparison to other people that are perhaps applying for jobs. I find that useful in the past.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for that, Joel. And Namita?
Yeah, I do agree what Joseph said, is look into the people who you would like to connect with as well. Research into their business. Just when you start a conversation with those who you want to connect with, whether it's potential employers or potential clients or customers, just do good research. And when you start conversation, just to have in mind, just say, what is it you like about their company, what value you can bring to them as well, and build up a conversation from there. And also, yes, LinkedIn is a fantastic platform to network. I would say build up a good presence on LinkedIn first before you reach out to connections, so that it creates a good first impression for you. So outline your objectives, your unique concepts, your objectives, and a little bit about yourself as well, and the unique value you can bring to your audience, to the potential employers. So when people see a striking first impression of your LinkedIn profile, it will make a difference as well. They will want to connect with you.
Definitely. Just to touch upon that, I think branding's key, regardless if it's business or if it's personal. The way that you package yourself and brand yourself online, either on LinkedIn or on any other platform, mainly LinkedIn if you're looking for any form of a career prospect, is incredibly key. And making sure that you have the right data to back it. For example, me and Namita have been working very closely in regards of developing newsletters that are reflectance of what I'm currently doing in my industry. And that's something that's been very strong for me in the past as well. When I was young, back in my younger days, oh my God, back in my younger days, I had the opportunity to do a really good newsletter based on the fashion industry and how trends were constantly changing. And I got something silly like 5,000 hits. And this is when LinkedIn was just, it was still very new and very alien at the same time. But once again, it created such a wealth of networks for me, which are unbelievable. And I've created fantastic relationships with a lot of external companies because of that newsletter. So even doing a simple newsletter based on the industry that you're working in or that you aim to be in would be very powerful to recruiters and employers. So the next one is understanding your NWS, your network wealth system. So there's two things that, one thing that I forgot to touch upon is TVP. I've discussed TVP in a few lectures, and that is a talent value proposition. It's similar to your unique selling proposition when it comes to your value proposition, sorry, when it comes to a company. So meaning what talents of value can you propose to your recruiter or employer? Those are the most, that's kind of a very important thing. So it's understanding that unique skill set that you have. It's understanding your unique work ethic that you can provide, and your overall passion for that career that you want to go into. So I'll be sending some links on that as well, understanding your TVP in such a huge depth. Now, the network wealth system is basically one thing that I touched upon is your network is your net worth. So these are some questions that you definitely need to ask yourself. Have you overlooked all the contacts in your social media, and have you kind of made a decision on which ones are valuable in regards of improving you? Have you made contact and built any relationships with prospective companies that were supposed to be companies, it's companies, and institutions? Have you highlighted a clear agenda of what you're exactly looking for in an individual, whether it's mentorship, industry knowledge, etc.? If there's anything else that I should add to the network wealth system, please let me know, guys. Is there anything out there that I should add? Panel discussion, guys. Joseph?
I think you've covered the main points, and again, really, without going over some of the old ground that I discussed, it's identifying the companies that you want to connect with, individuals that you want to connect with, just preparing some really, really good questions, and I guess when you're connecting with people, you've got to be realistic. I mean, you're not going to be able to speak with 10s or 20 or 30 people. Just keep it to a small, manageable amount, build your network, and just take it from there.
Fantastic. Anybody else?
Sometimes I think it could be being strategic. So when I first built my LinkedIn network, they're all marketing people. It's all head of marketing, marketing manager, because that was the industry and the field and the niche that I focused on. So maybe doing a bit of planning beforehand of, what is the industry that I'm going to work in? What am I passionate about? And then start doing some searches and connecting with that.
Fantastic. Awesome.
I think after maybe some time, when you've had some experience behind you, this might be the opposite, but you might want to go through a culling process, thinking about which connections are still connected to you. I often do this on a yearly basis, do a ping out of an email, or connect with them via LinkedIn again. If I do not hear anything back, and there is no further I guess shared connection between us, I do go through a culling process, and we do lose networks that way. But of course, I think for both parties, it's got to be the right connection.
Definitely.
Yeah. I would say just know your audience well. Know the potential employers very well before you reach out to them. Because it will help you communicate your message as well, help you create fruitful conversations. So know what your main goal is as well. So it's all about knowing your audience.
Okay.
Sorry to cut you there.
Sorry. Everything okay there? I feel like we're having a little bit of connection issue.
No.
Okay, then everybody okay?
Yeah.
Okay, then not a problem. Moving on.
I think one thing that's great as well is, like, there's a lot of stuff in terms of building relationships and connecting with people, but I think the way to be impactful is to actually push out and show people. And I think that's one element that a lot of people are scared to do, due to obviously their perception of themselves or what people may think. But I feel like you can connect with people, but if you're providing over the odds with value for free, people will then buy into you. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people that potentially don't have the that actually probably have the skill but don't have the confidence to actually share what they can do. I think putting that forward first is best, rather than just reaching out to a ton of people, because you're easily going to make an impact when you create a video or put out some imagery or something that you've done. As Stephen said, like, your personal brand is really important, but I feel like putting out the content and not being scared to do that is probably one of the most important things to do, because you can't stand out unless you press that publish button. But that's just a confidence thing, and I feel like there isn't a lot of people that have the confidence. Well, I'm very sure that there isn't a lot of people that don't have the confidence, but it's just encouraging people to do that. And I feel that the more you do it, the more people see what you do, the more it gets shown to people that will potentially want you to work for them. Because sometimes you don't want to be searching all the time. Make people come to you. So when you put out the content, people will then come to you.
Thank you very much for that, Theo.
Stephen,
Yeah.
can I just challenge that?
Yeah, go on.
Points are valid, but from a recruiter's perspective, and again, it's very much dependent on your industry, that sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes recruiters don't have the time to be looking at innovative videos or content that's going to make you stand out. Recruiters, we receive a lot of CVs on a day-to-day basis, and we have to sift through those CVs. And it really is just, what's the client looking for? Can you do the job? And it's matching. So granted, the point what you're saying there, Theo, is right, but from a recruiter, I couldn't sit here and allow people to spend a lot of time in creating a lot of content to stand out, because of the volumes that we manage. It's very, very difficult. And I'll give you a very real life situation. I recruit for the MOD, and a army soldier was applying for a maintenance job, and he's highly qualified, applying, and he didn't get anywhere. Didn't get anywhere. And so me and this individual, the reason why we spoke, he made a complaint. He made a complaint that he was being discriminated against, etc., etc. And so I picked up a call, I had a conversation with him, and he was asking those questions. How do I stand out? I'm constantly applying. And sometimes, as difficult as it is, sometimes it's just a numbers game, and it is persistence. It really is. And sometimes there isn't a magic wand, and sometimes there isn't a nice way that we can pretty it up. And that's sometimes those are the very, very harsh realities. But not to take away, do the things that we're saying in terms of reach out, do the LinkedIn, polish up your CV. But you're gonna get more no's than you are yeses, and it depends on how strong and thick-skinned you are to persevere. And I guess those are some of the very harsh realities of the recruitment world.
Okay, then, thank you very much for that response, Phil. As we move on, so what does the job market expect? So I've been doing a hell of a lot of research with regards to the current job market. And the UK job market appeared to slow down in Q1. Obviously, you know why it appeared to slow down, and it was due to COVID. And then now, but despite this, we've got new data, and salaries have increased by 5.9%. And in Q2, marketing, digital marketing, technology, law, and food industries, including agriculture, has grown in demand by 13.8%. Now, as I said before, these times are incredibly uncertain, but I've seen so many different shifts within the market, which seem incredibly promising. So this is where I revert a question in regards of what does the job market expect. I mean, from from your point of view, Lauren, what do you usually expect when it comes to an application coming to you for a certain position when there's a job available?
Yeah, so I probably work a little bit more on quality over quantity as in comparison to Joseph, but it's because we're a smaller business. So we still do get a lot of applicants, but it's Kim that manages the candidates. She'll go through their LinkedIn as well. What we're tending to see of is people are upskilling themselves in the digital areas because they're probably spending their time wisely during this furlough or the time that they have off in doing that. But yeah, there is a lot more applicants. It's going to be a candidate-driven market moving forward, so there is going to be a lot of competition. But it's great to see. I've just jotted down those stats, actually. Brilliant, because obviously I'm in marketing and tech and stuff, so it means that, that's kind of my point.
Oh, fantastic. And from your perspective, Joseph, obviously this is from more like more of a corporate edge. When it comes to larger companies, especially, you know what, one thing that I've always wanted to touch down on a senior aspect, somebody that who wants to go into a senior position, because I understand that you do deal with majority usually directors or people in more senior roles.
Yeah, I'll touch upon the seniors in a minute, but I think some of the basics, spelling, grammar, layout, not an overly heavy CV where there's just a lot of information that's non-relevant. And again, most humans only have a very short attention span to switch off after a few minutes. And I was always taught that if a hiring manager has to work his way through 20 CVs and your CV is the 5th CV in the pile and there's a lot of writing on there, it's going to switch off. So your CV you need to look the part, presentable, and really ensure that your skills align to what the job specification is looking for. And it's quite interesting the amount of CVs that I see in my world where the skills don't match what the job criteria is, or people are applying for jobs where they've got no skills. There's got to be a match. Just read the job description and ensure that you tailor your CV to some degree to what we're looking for. On the senior side, especially with directors, what the big players are looking for is looking for people that have ultimately saved money, made money, turned poor performing businesses around, where they've got that added value. But with the senior levels, there tends to be a lot of showboating in their CV. This is what I've achieved. This is what I've done. And at that level, that's what you expect to see. And some of those elements can also be applicable to the junior level applicants, as well as the mid-level. You've really got to sell yourself. You've really got to show employers how you've added value, how you've saved time, how you've implemented a new process, how you've made life easier. Those are some of the really attractive things that I would like to see in a CV on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, then. VJ, from possibly maybe a student's perspective or a graduate's perspective, what do you feel the job market expects from them?
Yes, and I think tying this back to Joseph's response as well, it's unknowing what the market is expecting, and it's a lack of research that's being undertaken by the candidate that doesn't allow them to, I guess, see what the market requirement is, but also to understand what the individual employer requirement is as well. When we do look at data, McKinsey, I think, is a great example that you've got up there at the moment. But organisations such as NEFTA are also indicating growth sectors and growth industries. Now, this could be used as your research to identify where you could potentially go into, what sectors are going to be increasing and where is there going to be a demand. So that way it does allow you to then fit and tailor, tweak, align, and make your CV and the application comparable and relevant to those opportunities. It does go back to self-awareness, researching the sector, and I think the market is going to be changing at the moment due to COVID. However, the data does inform us, again, back to data, it does inform us as a senior advisor to my students. This is the actions that need to be taken. Look at the skill requirement. It is a matching process, and you do need to demonstrate very succinctly how you are a good match and where is that added value as well.
Thank you very much. And the last person is Namita. Like coming from an employer, like an independent employer, a business's point of view, what do you expect when it comes when it comes to employing or recruiting somebody for a potential internship or even a placement?
Yeah. So my background is in marketing, creative media, video, and film. So when I look for talents, whether it's film crew or film crew producers or other key stuff, what I do is well, it all depends on their roles. So for me, if I look for creative crew, for instance, like camera operators or editors or sound recorders, the CV, yeah, it's great. I can see what the experience that they've done, but to me, because it's visual, my industry is very visual, I'm more focused on the experiences that they do rather than like academic qualifications. To me, academic qualifications don't very much matter today. It's all down to experience. Everything's experience and your portfolio of work. So how I take on talent is I don't look at very much their qualifications. I actually look at their work, what they do, because by looking at their work, for example, their show reels or the samples of work, that shows me what they're capable of doing, their quality. So building a good portfolio of work will also help support your application as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it just depends on, once again, what Joseph said, what type of industry you're going in and what you're applying to. So for example, when it comes to me, if I was to go back into fashion again, I know that my portfolio will be incredibly important, and finding innovative ways to present that to an employer would be crucial as well, because gone were the days when you could just bring in a physical portfolio. A lot of the students that I've been working with, a lot of their employers are doing a lot of webinars, so it's utilizing these systems once again to promote the work that they've done. When it comes to building on experience within a market that, well, within a career that you're in or you haven't been in for a while, it's really important to see if you can kind of build that experience yourself, just in case you can't get it from an employer for work experience or a recruiter. So a few things that I usually advise to my students is, why don't you collaborate with other students or other professionals to do a certain project, so you can demonstrate that you have experience doing it, whether it's in film, media, or whether it's in liberal studies, whatever the case may be. It could even be in food. Find ways of building your own portfolio, but demonstrating your collaborative experiences working with different types of people. That is incredible amounts of experience that you can add on there and you can utilize as well. Let's go to the next one. We had feedback from recruiters. So I've got a few recruiters that I've been speaking to already, who are already on my contact list. One of the main people that I've been speaking to is the McKinsey Group, and they've been, I've just been having casual conversations with them, and these were the things that they were saying. We have posts available, but digital skills is what our company needs, and none of our applicants have strong skills required. Or the other one is, we get so many applications, but their CVs let them down. And it takes HR longer to assess if they're a correct fit. So a lot of CVs let a lot of potential and talented people, well, it lets them down a lot. where they could be in a fantastic job, but they haven't branded or promoted themselves the right way, or they haven't even checked through their CVs for grammatical errors. I look through a lot of CVs every day, almost, and you'll be amazed to see where the how much grammatical errors are in there, like the type of experience that they put, which is just not non-reflectant of what they're applying for. And they're not utilizing their transferable skills. So if you do not have experience within that industry, they're not demonstrated the skills that they've got from another industry to implement into that industry. And that's really important. Another one was, another recruiter said that some of our positions are ad hoc communication interfaces. Yeah, it's a struggle to find adaptable candidates. So meaning that they have careers and opportunities abroad, or they've got them in various different countries, but a lot of candidates are finding it hard to communicate. Does anybody have any feedback regards to the reports that I've got from recruiters? I'll take it from Lauren first, actually.
Well, I feel like this is why our roles, and especially when I was doing it more frequently, is so important as a recruiter, because the employer is not actually aware sometimes of the person on the paper. They're not aware of the potential. And obviously we do a lot of the vetting and the pre-screening process, and I could meet somebody that on paper doesn't look that great, but I meet them and I see the fire and I think, wow, you're going to do so well for a company. And then it's our job to sell them to the employer, and they tend to be the sort of the mysterious card that gets the job. So I just think we need to humble ourselves as humans to give everybody a chance, you know, and to look beyond their experience. And I think it's something that employers should be aware of, to be more diverse. And it's in our nature sometimes to make an assumption, but we need to open our minds to be more diverse when we recruit.
Okay then, fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Lauren. I do have another question. A person, a part of the webinar has asked, can I ask the panel what they think a good CV entails and how long should it be for? Okay then, I'm trying to think, because it's, everyone's got their own different methods of doing things. So when it comes to doing a CV, I'll be honest with you, I have 4 different CVs that cater to 4 different positions, whether it be senior or whether it be just a basic position within a job. But I always make myself diverse. When it comes to updating my CV, I update my CV every 6 months, because every 6 months I'm bound to improve in a different way or gain more experience in a different subject matter. So those are the most important things. You need to be diverse and agile when it comes to job hunting and job searching. So having a multiple amount of different CVs that kind of cater to that position that you're applying for is pretty important. Gone were the days where you have one CV and you just, you know, hit your CV to every employer that you know. It doesn't work like that anymore. You have to be diverse, especially when it comes to the type of experience that you have. And updating is very crucial. A lot of people don't update their CVs. And if you want a really good job, updating your CV is incredibly important. VJ, do you have anything to add to it?
I'd certainly echo what you're saying, Stephen, and I'd probably say keep a master template. We've got absolutely everything on there, and just keep adding to it. But do remember, it's got to be no more than 2 pages. It's got to be, again, matching the requirements, but also indicating the added value that you can add, provide to an employer. But yes, make it quite succinct. And if you do have the interest for, I don't know, trying out different softwares, and you've picked up a skill in your own spare time, look to include that as well, because you just might think, I did that in my spare time, but it could be the digital skill an employer is looking for.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, VJ. Okay then, so last but not least, we have being an entrepreneur versus being an employee. Now, this actually resonates with a few of us on the panel, and possibly some of the attendees in the group. Some people have created their own business whilst being employed. Some just believe in just being an entrepreneur. And there's this taboo around you're either one or the other. There's just no in between. I personally don't believe in that. I believe you can be both, and you can learn so much from being an employee. I absolutely love being an employee, especially in the job that I work in, the 2 jobs that I work in. But it gives me such an insight. Working for Burberry gives me the opportunity to understand customer journeys in so much depth. And those are transferable skills that I've implemented in working at Regents when it comes to working with some of the students and just understanding who they are and what they're about. So I bring this to Lauren. Has there been ever a moment in time where you've had to balance being both an entrepreneur or an employee?
I actually was one of the risky ones. So I'm not going to advise this. This is not good practice, but this is me being honest. I was an employee and I thought, quit everything. And I just had to start with nothing. But for me, it worked. For others, it might not. But I think there's positives in both. Like, it's absolutely down to the individual. Some people want that security. They want that culture. They want that, you know, that team, the company benefits. Other people are a little bit more risky like me that want to build and create. But I definitely think you can do the two, Stephen, which is why I'm offering something that is for self-employed people. So if you are a freelancer, a marketing person that wants some additional revenue, I can help you with that, because I think the two do work, because it's about the networks that you have, and sometimes they cross over.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think there's benefits in both.
Oh, fantastic, Lauren. If you can share that to the webinar group, that'd be fantastic in chats. So at least people will be able to have access to it. What's your take on this, Namita, coming from an entrepreneurial and an employment route?
Yeah, well, on my end, so I'm a complete entrepreneur, so I run my business full time. So for me, how I started was, so in the past I did work for many production houses, doing all kinds of film projects, commercial projects, and then yeah, I basically collected all my earnings, and then at this point I just, you know, I was working for many production companies. I just thought, instead of looking for other opportunities out there, I wanted to create my own opportunity, and so this is where I set up my business, and I basically used all the funds that I have to run this company. So I did I did make a sacrifice. So and what got me started was I simply just build a presence, building myself a unique brand presence, a unique online presence, through building my own website, and building my own social networks, building myself the right online presence on social media. I have my own Instagram community, my Twitter community, LinkedIn. I've just got really active. I know who my target clients are. So I basically started building my networks, going out to events and connecting with people, looking for, seeking the right people who are my ideal clients. Okay. And I started working from there, building on my presence and growing my networks. And
thank you very much for that, Namita.
Works. Yeah.
Oh, okay then. But yes, and then Joseph, I understand that you've got your events company called Noir.
Yeah.
How do you balance Noir but also being employed as well? And what are the challenges that you've possibly faced as well in regards of trying to find that equilibrium?
I guess first of all, you've got to enjoy what you do. Now, being a recruit, I've had many conversations where employees hate being an employee and they want to be an entrepreneur, and it's challenging and it's very different. And my whole perception of being an employee changed probably about 3 years ago when I was working in an executive search firm. I had to headhunt it was an operations director role for an aerospace company. And I ended up having a conversation with this chap. He's 32 years old at the time. And he was managing a workforce of 1,500 people, and he's responsible for a P&L of 800 million. And at that point, I was like, wow, he's an employee, but he's running a business. He's in charge of a large workforce. And I said, there's not many entrepreneurs that are going to manage a workforce of 1,500 people managing a P&L. But when I was speaking with this chap, what he was telling me is, look, when you're working as an employee, you need to go to work to learn skills, learn your craft, and be able to use the realities are your employer will put you on courses. Your employer will invest a lot of time and money in you. So if you've got a strategic mind as an entrepreneur, you can kind of take those elements from your day job to then transfer into the entrepreneurial world. So yes, Stephen, I do got an events company, and part of the skills that I've acquired along the way has been working in the sales sector. Recruitment is engaging with people, influencing people. But I couldn't do what I do outside of work if it wasn't for my day job. And I actually love my day job, because my day job, it actually empowers me to be an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur. And I think if you are wearing that employee hat, I'd encourage anybody just to enjoy that journey. Don't look at it as a negative point or a stumbling block or a block as to where you are. Enjoy it, gain as much skills as you can, and transfer that over. Because the realities are, when you're an entrepreneur, you've got to pay for that course. There's not many people that are going to invest in you, and it's extremely risky.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I 100% agree. I'll be honest with you. Like, I did something similar, a little bit risky to Lauren as well. When I first, before all of this, before I was doing any form of careers consultancy or business consultancy, before I was doing fashion, actually, I had a really structured job as a teacher. And that job was an amazing job. I got to work with kids. I enjoy working with children as it is. But I was starting to build the fundamentals of Stephen Arthur, the fashion business. And probably a year in, I thought, you know what? I don't need a job anymore. I'm just going to drop it. And I went straight in for the kill. And it's probably something that I should have thought over. And like, funny enough, I was learning so much working at that school. I was learning so much about people in general, and that was one of my biggest regrets. Long story short, I did a lot of, I was an entrepreneur for so long, for nearly 10 years. I was an entrepreneur. I probably had a little bit of a part-time job working in the family business. And then after that, that's when I decided, when it came to moving to London, that's when I decided I need to get back into working under somebody again. I need that structure. I need to understand how they kind of deliver things, because I've been delivering things in my own way. And sometimes your own way is not the best way. And working and building the network was an amazing way for me to kind of recollaborate myself and kind of build things again. But also working for Burberry and once again working for Regents gave me an amazing, even working, doing some work with the Birmingham University, it really helped me and center myself for bigger and better things. It improved on my leadership skills. It improved on so many different aspects, which I can now implement into my company. And I'm forever grateful for that. So I used to be anti-employee, like, I don't want to be an employee, I don't want to work for anybody. But the benefits of working for somebody is amazing. It's pretty awesome. And they do invest in you. If they believe in what you do, who you are and what you're about, they will invest in you, and you can learn so much from it.
Stephen, just to jump in there, and there's a terminology I picked up a couple of years ago, something called an intrapreneur.
I was just mad, yes.
Yeah.
And so, and I guess you can run your own business while somebody's paying you a wage, and it's not a bad thing. And I think we do live in a society now where being an entrepreneur, it's the thing, and it's darn difficult. It's not for everybody. Exactly. No doubt the business owners on the line can probably allude to that. It really, really is difficult. But just to safeguard yourself, just be an entrepreneur for a couple of years before you take that big step.
VJ, do you have anything to add to it before we end?
Yes, I was just going to echo what Jace was saying, the terminology of intrapreneurship and that entrepreneurial mindset. When you are leading towards that senior position, you are almost going to be having a massive budget to work with and a massive team to manage and so forth. So you would need to have that kind of entrepreneurial spirit with that new strategy, with that new development of the organization and so forth. But running summer schools on entrepreneurship, I hear the students saying, oh, this internship was really useful. It helped me to do this, this, and this. I can now apply it to my business idea. So go out there, learn, explore, and I think that epiphany moment will come to you when you know, okay, this idea can work. So yeah, try out both, and you just might find that both might even work for you at the same time. But it is a real hard job. Personally, I've dipped in and out of it during my career, and when there was a really long solo moment, I just needed to get back to that network and develop from learning from others. So for me, that drew me back to higher education.
Okay, then fantastic. So we did go 15 minutes over, but overall, this has been an amazing first webinar. I hope that everybody's enjoyed it. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being a part. Thank you so much for contributing your different points of views and also your industry knowledge to the people that are currently in the webinar. Now we're going to move on to a quick Q&A. So this is an opportunity for individuals to voice their opinions or questions that they might have. There is a hand icon which you can raise if you have any questions that you would like to speak to the panel about. So if there's anything that you would like to query, please raise your hand from now, and then we can unmute you, and then you can discuss. Anybody? Somebody?
Are there any online digital apps or anything that recruiters use that candidates could potentially answer a question that you want them to answer through a video and basically compile all those videos to the recruiter, so then they can see the video of that candidate and say, well, he answered that question quite well, get to the next part. And then from there, you can make a decision whether you want to have him in or her in to have a face-to-face interview. And then from there, at least that's kind of like screening and seeing what they're capable in front of the camera, instead of just reading through CVs and it's taking up a lot of time, because at the end of the day, you probably want to see how they react. People are people, and I feel like that if you see a video of someone answering the question in front of them, in front of you while you're screening them, I think that would be like a powerful tool.
Okay, then. Lauren?
I had this idea, right, a few years ago. I was like, right, we're doing video CVs, this is the new thing. And then I had some quite wise advice that was like, actually, if you want to be an equal employer, you need to not have that preconception, if that makes sense, because it's such a good idea. And we do virtually pre-screen candidates, but I had to be really careful, because if I did that, it is almost us making, you just have to be an equal, diverse employer, I think, because I was all for that. I thought it's going to cut out some of the process. But the more that I spoke to a lady that's in HR and has a lot of experience, she said, Lauren, you need to be diverse and an equal opportunity employer.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Stephen, sorry, I was going to say that there's a tool in the market. It's a tool called Montage. And it's widely used, and what that system is designed to do is the employer will load the system with some questions, and you as the applicant, you will then see the questions on screen, and it gives you an opportunity to answer those questions, and it also gives you an opportunity to sell your profile, just talk about yourself. and the manager will, the company will receive that part of your application, and then they'll review it, and then they'll make their decision going forward. It is widely used across the marketplace. It's something that I've been on both ends of the stick when I was looking for a job. It's something that I used, and it's something that my current employer also uses as well. Some managers are for it, and some managers are not for it, but there is a tool in the marketplace that's used.
Fantastic.
Can I
If I could just add one thing
Oh.
to that.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I'll
Sorry,
let VJ go ahead.
Thank you. Just making sure that you provide examples when you are answering video interview questions. So it's not just about saying I'm good at teamwork, I'm creative, I'm organized. When and how have you done this? So always make sure that you're going to give an example. There's two acronyms that I can think of, STAR and BAR. Search that on Google. If you look up STAR, it's got a nice structure that you can use to hopefully succinctly give an example based on a skills-based question. So do have a look at that.
Yeah, well, I was going to add to the CV side of things. And I heard a panel say that, yes, a CV shouldn't be more than 2 A4 pages, which I do totally agree with. But that people need to stop the storytelling. It's not a storytelling exercise. You know, you need to hit those essential skills, the essential items as highlighted in the job spec, hit those. Then use your softer skills and your wider experiences to sell yourself when you're in an interview stage. I think that's a better way to go about it. Don't put too many jobs on a CV either, because it will seem like you're on a short-stop bus. And then, as people would ask, why have you had so many jobs? Why didn't you stick any of them out? And then you seem unreliable. So you need to think about your CV really, really carefully. And if you're not sure, fill it in. Ask somebody to give you an eye over it and proofread it for you. If I type a large document, I tend to miss out on grammar and spelling, that sort of stuff. But I'll tend to pass it on to one of my peers and say, just proofread. Don't change the essence, but proofread. Look for the spelling, look for the grammatical mistakes and that sort of stuff. It works. It works well.
Wow. Yeah.
Stephen, just to follow on from that point with the gentleman, there's two schools of thoughts when it comes to CVs. First of all, CVs are very subjective. That's one thing. But there's two schools of thoughts in terms of putting a lot of jobs on your CV. Now, you could have a lot of jobs on your CV, but depending on the type of work that you do, you have to have lots of jobs if you're a contractor. And also as well, some sectors like to see people moving around. So some sectors like to see people move anywhere between a 2 to 5 year period, because it shows that you're progressing. Or if you're with a company for a long period of time, what we like to see is that you've moved around in that organisation over a period of time. So there are some CVs where people have been in the company for 10, 20 years and they've been stagnant. That doesn't look good. I'd rather have somebody move 3 or 4 times in a 10-year period as opposed to one person in one job for a 10-year period and there's no movements. So again, it comes back to that whole subjective piece, depending on the industry. And CVs, we could all have conversations till kingdom come about the purpose of CV.
Oh, definitely.
And I guess it boils back to your market, the company. And you know, there's some experts on the line today who specialize in the marketing industry. It's totally different to the engineering field. Again, it all depends on your sector.
Okay then.
Good.
Well, guys, thank you once again for being a part of the webinar. It's been absolutely amazing. I've seen that people are starting to share all their stuff, which is fantastic. Now, I tried to share documents on here, but it's not letting me share the file. I wanted to share the Meeters newsletter with everybody, which was amazing. It's a PDF newsletter. I'm going to see if I can try and find it to share quickly. If I can't, I'll send everybody an email regarding it. Oh, I think I'm able to do so. Bear with me. I'm going to send it. I can send it. Fantastic. So I'm sending it right now. So it's an upskilling guide. So at least you'll be able to download it, and it's really in-depth and insightful. We do have another event which is going to be in the next 2 weeks' time, and it's based on self-development. So if anybody's interested, I'm also sending that link too. So it's another webinar, and it's going to be more about self and personal development. But once again, have a great evening, everybody. It's been amazing. It's been absolutely awesome. And I'll be getting in contact with everyone very soon. So take care.
Cheers. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.